Hello and welcome to another edition of the Jamie Files. So I always hear this saying called hidden in plain sight, and the way that it's usually used nowadays is when the Illuminati will put their intentions out in the open for everyone to see in the media, like in commercials, movies, ads, television. And a lot of people think that the reason why they might do this is so it's not taken seriously. So obviously in movies you can find a lot of anecdotes or a lot of metaphors for conspiracy theories. So people think that if you see those metaphors in the movies and then you go out in public and you bring up the fact that, oh, well, have you seen this one movie? They talk about how the world's being controlled by a one world government. They're gonna say, oh, well, that's not real, that's a movie. So it kind of deters people from pursuing that research. I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's something that I come across a lot. So I wanted to talk about some movies that have a lot of hidden in plain sight messages, because I watch a lot of movies. The first one that's probably the most famous is the Matrix series. There's 3 of them, plus an animated movie called The Animatrix. And that probably is the most used movie when people reference conspiracies about us being in a counterfeit reality that's actually controlled by something else. So in The Matrix, it's about this programmer, this coder, who gets a message, who's looking for something. He's looking for something, and then he gets a message on the internet from this guy named Morpheus, and he meets Morpheus. Morpheus gives him a choice between choosing the red pill, which will reveal the truth, or he could take the blue pill, and then he'll forget that he ever met him. And then it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland, where he takes the red pill and he uncovers the truth. It's something totally out of this world. It's literally something that he could never have imagined himself, and then he goes on this adventure and becomes like the hero. And that's the Matrix trilogy. Most people have seen the Matrix, or at least know what it's about, because it's a huge Hollywood blockbuster. So the Matrix trilogy, that's one movie. The next movie is Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye is kind of similar, and it's about this surveillance. It's about AI though, so it's kind of like the Matrix, except the control grid or the control system is artificial intelligence. So that's Eagle Eye. I recommend you check out Eagle Eye. Another movie is The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. The Truman Show is about a guy whose life is a reality show, except he doesn't know it. He has no idea that his life is actually other people's entertainment, and he just goes through life ignorant of this, and everybody is following along, laughing and crying and watching his life, and it's their form of entertainment. But it's still the same concept of reality is not what you think it is, and it's actually being controlled by something else. So far we got The Matrix, we got Eagle Eye, we got The Truman Show. Another movie is Enemy of the State. Enemy of the State is not about a counterfeit reality in which we all live. Enemy of the State is about GPS. It's entirely about the NSA and GPS technology. And I talked about this in another video, but I like that movie, and that movie stood out to me a lot because I saw it in 1998 and I never forgot GPS. I never forgot about it, and then when GPS actually came out, I was bugging. Another movie to watch that is not so much conspiracy, but it does have to do with waking up, having an awakening, and reevaluating your life and reality is Fight Club. Fight Club was a pretty successful movie out there, and I liked it a lot. That movie is about a guy. That movie's actually, I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it, but you just have to watch it. But a lot of it is about a guy who has a status quo life. He has all the material possessions, and he has a pretty secure job, and he ends up going back to a more archaic way of life, and he tries to destroy the system in the end. But I just gave away some of it, but it doesn't ruin it, because it's about a lot more, and there's all these other things that happen. So that's Fight Club. Another one that's similar to Fight Club, where it's not conspiracy, but it's about waking up and reevaluating your life, is American Beauty. American Beauty is about a family that's total status quo, and they live in the white picket fence neighborhood, and everybody thinks that they're the perfect family, but inside this family, it's actually pretty dysfunctional, and the main character is the husband, father, who gets he snaps at work one day, and then he ends up going through this process of awakening where he realizes what life is really all about. And there's other character systems in the movie too, where you follow along with those people's stories, and they also go through some sort of awakening. So that's American Beauty. Another movie, or I should say movies, are the Philip K. Dick movies. So Blade Runner. Blade Runner was based on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which was a Philip K. Dick novel. The two are actually really different, but the movie, I like the book better because it's more satire. But the movie is pretty cool because of the special effects and the set pieces. Everything was built instead of CG, and I prefer the built look more than CG, even though today that's unrealistic because it's too expensive and time consuming. But Blade Runner is about androids. It's about androids that are indistinguishable from humans. So another Philip K. Dick movie to look out for was called A Scanner Darkly, which is an animation. A Scanner Darkly is about an undercover cop who has to infiltrate these drug addicts and uncover this drug that is causing an epidemic. But what happens to him is that he ends up going crazy because he has to do the drugs too as he's undercover, and he ends up getting affected just as badly as the addicts that he's supposed to be busting. So that's A Scanner Darkly, and it also deals with technology and a bunch of other sci-fi paranoid concepts are in that movie. So that's A Scanner Darkly. Another movie to look out for is Minority Report. Minority Report is about pre-crime. Pre-crime means that you can predict crimes before they actually happen, and the way that people are able to do that in the movie is with precogs. Precogs are psychic people, and they're born psychic, and then they put them in these pools of water or milk or whatever it is, and the cops do this, and they can photograph and film their premonitions, and that is about pre-crime, and it talks about the implications of pre-crime and surveillance and police state, a lot of paranoid stuff like that. So those are just a few movies that should keep you guys busy, and so the question is, are those movies intentionally made to put actual agendas in plain sight so that people don't further investigate them? Or is it more like synchromysticism, where it's like synchronicity, where it's not intentional, it's unintentional, but it still is the truth hidden in plain sight? So I hope you enjoy your movie watching experiences with a loved one or just by yourself.